To the show, former U.S. Border Patrol Chief Victor Manjarrez. We're just getting some breaking news there a moment ago. I wonder if you can respond to Governor Pritzker there on the standoff, because things seem to be escalating as opposed to de-escalating right now.
Alicia, you're absolutely correct. It is definitely escalating. Really, there's a call up of the National Guard. It's under two types of titles. Title 10, when the National Guard's federalized, which the president can do, or Title 32, which the state would do. And that both are funded through the same mechanisms. Just one has authority over the Guard on that. So it's interesting to see that the administration was asking Illinois to do that, and it appears that the governor is going to decline that. And so the president more than likely will federalize 300 National Guard troops. I imagine these troops are going to be utilized at detention facilities that try to quiet down what you're seeing on TV right now at the facilities. That's really going to start to become a dangerous situation.
Yeah, and it seems like the danger is increasing as we see more agents and more federal troops advance into a city that at least the governor and city officials don't want there.
No, they certainly don't want there. Unfortunately, the criminal statistics doesn't support their position on that. Now, what we're seeing now is the protests more near ICE facilities. What I worry about when you see the numbers grow, and without a kind of a point of deterrence for these groups, that number is going to grow. What's going to happen? There's going to be a mistake. Someone's going to get hurt. And we haven't seen that at this point yet, but someone's going to get hurt.
That is a very, very real fear. Earlier I actually spoke with Congressman David Kustoff of Tennessee, who is actually in Memphis where troops are being deployed. And he mentioned how, there's a lot of well wishes and reception there in Memphis. And I asked him, listen, if you've got cities like Memphis who are welcoming the federalization of troops, going there and helping with crime issues or even, ICE concerns, why doesn't the administration just focus on those cities that would welcome this as opposed to cities that aren't welcoming it and could lead to further violence and a potentially horrible situation?
Well, the fact of the matter is, when you have overwhelming immigration that we've seen on the border in the last several years, and of course, overwhelming immigration has gone back the last 35 years, right? Different ebbs and flows. They traditionally go to big cities that they can get individuals can get lost in plain sight. Those are places like Los Angeles, New York City, Chicago. That's where the large populations are at. So this is the first time I've seen it in the last 35 years. And as a chief, I always hoped that we would have the whole of government approach, not just a border patrol, but federal agencies trying to address this issue. And that's what we're seeing now.
Demonstrators in Chicago, one of the things they're calling for is more transparency on the conditions inside the facility there and other facilities. They want to know who's being held there. That's something that has not been available, even to attorneys sometimes throughout the country. Do you think the public needs and deserves more information from ICE?
I do think that the transparency should increase on that. Not so much the individuals. It's very much like think of a jail system, right? If non-immigration, someone goes to jail, that's not real easy to get that information. But the conditions of a facility should be very transparent. How are they housed? What are they? To what standards are they keeping these people? What's the occupancy rates? Things of that nature. So absolutely on that. But in terms of specific court cases, their status, the individuals, I'm not so certain on that.
I'm out of time here, but really quickly, if you can just give me your thoughts on, is there anything else that can be done besides the use of force that we're seeing there a moment ago that could bring down the temperature before, again, to your point, something else happens?
I think seeing the troopers come in is a big thing on that. At some point, it's going to be a non-federal response to get the individuals away from these facilities. They're getting really close to law enforcement folks. And again, this is just a very toxic environment, and it's not going to take much to let this blow up.
Yeah, we hope that doesn't happen. It's something that our teams are on the ground covering really closely. Former U.S. Border Patrol Chief Victor Manjarrez, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.